Hi everyone, Patrick here once again and welcome to a new video at Sedney's Garage. Today I'm bringing you a tutorial about rattle can decanting. We're going to decant a Tamiya spray can going from here to here. Sometimes we may not control hobby spray cans as we would like to, or we rather use the airbrush as it helps to have better control over the desired air and paint flow. Plus, we might see at any time how much paint we have left in the cup. You will need a spray can, plastic drinking straw, an empty jar for paint, better a glass one but the plastic will do too, toothpicks, cocktail sticks, whatever you want to call it, but these are optional, paper towels, and the right thinner for the paint you are using. The first important step is to shake the can thoroughly so we can mix the paint of the thinner and then stick the pigments from the bottom of the can. Around 2-3 minutes of elbow grease should be good enough. Some say it's better to heat the can with hot water before use. Personally, I've never done so and never had any problem so far leaving very empty cans. To do or not to do, that is your choice. Now we cut a piece of the straw, taking the curved part with it. These straws I was lucky that they fit tightly over the can nozzle. In case yours don't, you can cut a small nip in the end of the straw and seal it using some sort of modeling clay or blue tack. Now, with everything set, we put the free end of the straw inside the jar and press the nozzle in the can, decanting the paint in it. As a side note, if you have a paint booth, I recommend you to turn it on, as the fumes from the solvents in the paint are quite stinky. You'll have to watch the straw in this stage though, not to be below the surface of the paint as it might splash and stain everything around you. You may see condensation and frost outside the jar. That's perfectly fine. It's just the pressure change that will make the liquid cold and create the condensation. Just leave it or dry it with a paper towel, it's up to you. When you see no more paint coming out and only hear gas, try to incline the can in different directions. It may pull out some more paint. A tip I use is when I'm sure no more paint is coming out of the can and the gas is coming out at a very low pressure, I dip the straw, still with the nozzle pushed, until it stops bubbling. That's the moment we are 100% sure that it's completely empty. At this stage we have two options. We may leave the can as is and throw it in the bin, or we might drill a small hole around 2 milliliters near the base to finish emptying it. Have no fear, as we already made sure there's no propellant left inside the can. The way I do all the decanting steps, I couldn't take more than 0.5 or 1 milliliter of paint left, so it's your choice whether you do it or not. I don't do it anymore, but I'm showing you how to do it. One thing to consider is there may fall some metal shavings from the drill in the paint. Be careful with that. In this case, I'm using 80 milliliter polyester jars I bought from AliExpress. As you can see, the paint won't fill the jar even when the can says its content is 100 milliliters. More on that later. Now that the paint is in our jar, it's crucial to let it degas. Being under propellant gas pressure will make it happen as in soda. It will bubble. We must leave it at least a couple hours with the lid open to let all the gas out. This will avoid possible accidents later when shaking the bottle to mix with the thinner. A small trick to accelerate the process is to carefully put a toothpick in the jar. Watch out, it will bubble. Sometimes I've forgotten the open jar overnight, and the next morning everything was okay and completely degassed, so there's no problem if you leave it for more than 2 hours. Letting it sit open for degas will reduce its volume considerably, around 20 to 25%. Once it stops bubbling, it means it's fully degassed, so we can add the thinner now. You are completely free to use any thinner you like, either Tamiya lacquer thinner, Mr. Color leveling thinner, lacquer thinner, whatever. As every modeler is a different story, I can't make an exact recommendation about the thinning ratio. I add thinner more or less the same amount it reduces its volume. This way my paint is ready to use every time I need it. A while back I told you about those Tamiya spray cans having less than 100 milliliters, they say in the label. They say it's the total volume of the can, including paint, thinner and propellant. Once degassed, the final volume paint is around 50 to 60 milliliters. That's a considerable decrease, but taking into account the price of each can and the amount you get from it, I think it pays off better than LP paints at 10 milliliters per jar. If they are the same paint or not, or if you apply them the same or not, it's a discussion I don't want to get into right now. And that's it. That's all for this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications of new videos in the channel. See ya. Bye bye.